All right, so in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about views and dates. So what are views? We're going to talk about views first, and then we're going to be talking about the different functions or methods in dates that we can use to manipulate our data. So the first one we're going to be looking at is views. Views are reusable code, just like stored procedure. Now, the difference between a view and a stored procedure is that a stored procedure can have variables like a function. A stored procedure can be like is actually a function, not be like it's a function that can take parameters in it. But a view does not take variables. So you can think of a view as a block of code in which displays a specific information. For example, let's say we are working on an OLTP data, online transfer data, which means we're working on a live data set, and every now and then, or maybe every Monday mornings, there's a specific block of code that generates the latest the latest information in that particular database. Instead of having to come to your query and then write the same block of code every now and then, you can create a view about this, which automatically gets saved in your database memory. And every time you call that view, it automatically returns the results and gives you the latest results on that particular database or table that you're working with. So a view can be as simple as a select statement, and it can be as complex as joining multiple tables together, applying different conditions like a where, a group by, filter, order, and you can really play around it as much as you can. So in this particular lesson, I'm going to be using AdventureWorks 2019, and we are going to be performing views with some of the queries that we have worked with in the past. I will see if we can also recreate it, writing new ones. So to create a view, just like I said, to create an instance in SQL, we use the create word, whether it's a database, a table, stored procedure, what have you, we use the create keyword followed by the instance. So in this case now, to create a view, I say create, and then the instance I want to create, which is view, and then the name of the view, I can just say multiple table. Then as, so after this as, follows it is the SQL query that you want to create a view of. So if I say select, and then I'm just going to copy this here, paste it right here. Now, if I run this now, this automatically gets saved. Okay, I'm getting an error that create view function failed because no column name was specified for column 3. Column 3, where is it? I'm just going to run this first. Let's see, do we have a result? Yes, we do. Okay. Just gonna say. All right, now, so a view has now been created. That is why we are having this command completed successfully. So if I go on to views now and I reload this, the name of my view is mult data. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong table. 2022. Okay, views. So you can see the first table here is mult table. So I can get rid of this block of code here because I don't need it again. So if I want to get the information from my view, I can just call like a normal table. I can say select everything from mult table. So which gives me the result of joining 3 tables together, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 3? Oh, it's 2 tables. 2 tables together. Table PPC, which is short for product category, and then PPS, which is short for product subcategory. So those 2 tables have been joined together, and now I'm calling it with a single select statement, and it returns the result for me. So I'm just going to look at, okay, I have 3 here. Just going to use this. I have 3 tables being joined together. I'm just going to create a simple views from this also. Just going to say create view. The name of the view, I'm just going to say mult table 2 as, and then just going to paste this right here, and I'm going to run this up. Okay, this is giving me an error because I don't have any table named dim customer. So dim customer is in data warehouse. So I'm going to rerun this now, and it should work. So that works. So if I go to my data warehouse now, I should see mult 2. I'm just going to refresh this. Can you see? I have mult table 2. So if I get rid of this now, I keep saying 1, 2, I have 3 tables being joined together. So if I get rid of this and I say, copy this, paste here, then put mult 2, then you can see that I now have the result of combining 3 tables in my database in just one view. So let's say this is an operation I perform every Monday, then it's easy for me to just get the updated version of my view by calling this, by using the select statement. However, sometimes a view can actually exist in your database and you want to overwrite that view. So to do that, you could say create or replace view. So create or replace view, what create or replace view would do, let's say I just wanted to recreate this again. I'm just going to say create or replace. What this would do is that it's, sorry, replace, no review. What this would do is that it will check if that view already exists. It will check if that view already exists and it will replace it. But this one is not, okay, let me just say. So creators replace view actually replaces the view if it actually exists before. So if we wanted to delete the view the same way we created it, if we just say drop and then the instance we want to drop and the name of the instance, which is this. So drop this and then say okay, I'll check that and see why that is giving us an error. So the second thing we'd like to look at today is the date function. So the date function are used to manipulate dates in our database or our table. So let me look for a column that has a date. So here is a table that has a date. We have full date, alternate key, and we have dates being split into month, month, number of the year, and then the calendar year. And then we also have the fiscal year. So let's say all of these parts did not exist. We could actually break this down. I'm going to look for the one that has like two different dates. So yeah, we have other dates and why is this one looking very funny? Let me check this one.
So what year of adventure work are you using?
2022.
I'm not seeing this it's not on my own this thing. No. This
I have Adventure Works and I have Adventure Data Warehouse. There are two Adventure Works, three actually.
okay,
We have
because
the light version too, LT. So this is Adventure Data
because
Warehouse. We have Adventure Works, we have Data Warehouse, and we have the light version.
because
So the
when
one,
you use that three this thing tables, I can't find it in my own adventure work. So I ended up using two tables, the one that can like that have they can they have things in common. They are just true. I can't find TV and I can't find this particular table you use. So I was now wondering what year of adventure work you were using.
Okay, so I have two adventure works on my system. Say, I have the normal one, I have the data warehouse. So if you see me use a column that is not in the one you have, then it's an adventure data warehouse I'm using.
Okay. I'll try and download it. Sure. Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm looking for, the order date and the due date. So we're going to use this to perform dates. We're going to use date functions on these two columns. So the order dates means when a particular product was ordered. And then due date means the date it's actually due for delivery, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's take this one by one. Let's try to extract and then try to find the difference between these two dates. So the first thing I want to do now is to extract the columns first. So I'm going to use order dates and due dates. So it's going to say select order dates. I'm just going to say the table first. So these are the two columns I want to work with. So the first thing I want to do is to find the difference in these two dates. So to find the difference, we have date add and date due. Date add will add to the dates, depending on what you want to add, and then date diff will find the difference. So I'm just going to say select, and then the method I want to use, date diff, which finds difference. And then the difference in what am I looking for? Is it the year, the month, or the day? I need to tell SQL what I'm looking for. And then other dates. And then the due dates. So I'm just going to call these guys again. Control C, and then also going to call this again, just to print out the dates. And I'm going to name this B. So if I run this now, okay, there's no comma here. Oops, there's no comma here. All right, so this is telling me 0-year difference. Because if you see 2020, 2011, 2020, 2011, 2011. So that's it. But if we look down, maybe by month, there might be a difference. Okay, there's a difference of 1 month, and sometimes it takes less than 1 month. But if I look at the difference of days, definitely we will have something. So you can see a difference of 12 days has passed since the due date. Okay, so that's the first one. So that's date div. We could also use date add. So what date add would do in this sense is that it will say, oh, I'm adding a particular thing to a particular number to an existing date. So the number could then be the year, the month, or the day. So if I wanted to add maybe to the due dates now, I wanted to add 5 more days. I'm just going to say date add. I'm just going to change this to date add. Right? So date add, then the year that I want to add, or sorry, yeah, the date I want to add in this context will now be, I want to add the day, right? And how many days do I want to add? I want to add 5 days. And I'm just going to call this add. So I've added 5 days to this due date. So 12 plus 5 is 17. 12 plus 5 is 17. 12 plus 5 is 17. And you can see that the date changes across board. So the syntax says the format you want to add, the number you want to add to it, and then the dates that you want to add. Okay. So if you wanted to subtract, because what we've just done now is we have we've added, right? So if you wanted to subtract, maybe you want to move backward, you just add a minus to the number, and then it moves backward. So it's now 12 minus 5 days is now 7 days. And then, every other thing follows suit. We also have other functions. We could format our dates in a particular format. Like you see now that my date is in my date time, not date, is in date and then time format. I can get the current date if I wanted to. I can say what's my current date, right? If I check my current date, sorry, select what's that current date? select current date. So you are okay. Select current date. I am seeing double. Okay, let me see if this works. Interesting. Oh, I think this works for MySQL, not SQL. Let me see. Current. Mm.
Mm.
Okay, it gets this. So I know it's current dates for MySQL. It gets dates for SQL Server or MS SQL rather. So get date gives you the current dates and the current time, except that it's not 7:12, is it? No, it's 1 hour behind. That's weird. So that's 1 hour behind. And then we could also get and then this gives you the current date time. Of course, we can also extract the date and then the time from a date time. So we could also convert our dates into different formats. It could be converted into different formats. You could say, let's say I want to return just the dates format here. Now we're going to mix SQL and MySQL together. Okay, so you could extract the month. If you copy and paste this, you could also extract the year. Sorry, we just extracted the month. You could also extract the month, year, and then the date. Date part, sorry. So this pass, so this pass is also useful for extracting part of your dates.
Yes.
So in place of using this here, we could use this here. We could use this. We could um so this parts dates formats, they are particularly useful. Date add, date div. They are particularly useful when you want to extract a portion of your date. And oftentimes you might want to change your your date time. It might be in string and you might want to cast it into a date format. So to do that,
Okay.
I'm just going to copy this. Just going to copy this, paste it here. And then I'm going to say cast. And then I'm going to say, what do I want to cast? I want to cast this as a date. So this is already a date anyway. So you can see now that this is now being cast as a date alone. So if what we were only interested in is just the date, not the date time, we could cast it as a date, and then it displaces the time in the date, which is this column right here. So, but if we wanted to extract maybe the month, the year, the day, and or part of any part of our date, then we could use the other functions like year, month, and we could also use date parts. So all of these functions, they actually have some similarities. But if we wanted to change the format of our date or date time, we can use cast or convert to do that. Are we on the same page?
Yes, I'm with you.
So this can be very useful when you want to, in this particular case now, find the difference between two dates or how long it took for a product to reach a particular destination.
Okay.
So do you have any question or questions?
No. This is more similar than what we did on Excel now, when we were checking the date difference.
Yes, it is very similar to that of Excel, except the fact that we
The
don't,
code that
there
we
are
are
some of the
using.
functions, there are some of the methods that we have used that is not in Excel. In Excel, if you wanted to
Yeah.
type cast, we'll be using text, but here we use
Mhm.
cast. We have date add, but we have date paths. I'm not so sure if we have date paths, but I know we have date div and date add. We have the year, month, day functions in Excel. We have timestamp. We have all of those form of functions in Excel. Excel is very similar to SQL. Actually, Excel is also a database. We have Excel is also a database, just the same way SQL is, but one has more flexibility compared to the other one.
And you
So hence, you see a lot of people use one compared to the other. So this is the part where you do yours and I sit back and relax.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to create a new database and I'm going to name it sample, except that I have a database that already exists here anyway. So I'm just going to change to that database. So to import, I'll just right click on the data, come to import wizard. So before I do that, I have to come here and install SQL Server import. So this plugin allows me to import flat files into my current working environment. So if I go back now and I right click here, come to import wizard, this connects to my database. This takes me to a window where I can select the database I want to import into and choose the file. So I'm going to select sample because that's the database I want to import into. And it's going to ask me to choose the file from my local system. So I'm just going to choose a file. So I'm just going to choose this. So you see the table name. It creates a schema for the table. So if I click on next, it gives me a preview of what the data looks like, right? And then if I click on next, it gives me suggestion on the data type of each of the columns. So I know that financial year is a virtual because it has 2 dates in it. So I'm just going to change this to virtual. I know that this is an integer, so I'm going to read this as tiny int. And first name is also a virtual, so I'm going to change that to a virtual. Then this offense description, it's a virtual. It's a virtual also, but I'm going to leave it as text because it's more than 50 characters. Then offense group, I'm going to leave that as a virtual. friends group also, I'm going to give that voucher. The friends group, gonna put that voucher, and then the number of offenses, I'm going to leave that as small int. So do I want to allow null values? Actually, the data set is a very clean one. So it really doesn't matter if I allow null values in this particular case scenario. I'm just going to click on here. So that means if there's any row missing, it doesn't throw an error back. And then I'm going to click on here. So this is telling me that there's an error with my table schema. So this error is coming from my ints. So I've chosen ints to be small ints, but I have some ints, some values that are very big. So I'm just going to use big ints here. And then I'm going to reload that. So that's done. So to check if my data exists, I'm just going to go back to my database, go to my sample. I'm going to just reload this. So this is my data. I'm just going to pull. I'm just going to pull it here. Let's pull right here. Or I could just right click and say select top 100. So this is my data. It has over 1,000 records. For this, I'm only saying show the first 1,000. So this is only going to show the first 1,000. But the data has quite a number of rows.